What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning into the channel. Shane here, bringing you some Space Marine 2 on the PS5. And in this video, we are going to be focusing on the performance of the PS5, how it looks, how it plays, if you have the option, should you go for one console over the other, or for PC, and everything that you're going to be seeing in this video was captured on performance mode on PS5. Now, I'll come right out of the gate and say that Space Marine 2 is, without a doubt, the best Warhammer game I think has ever been made. It is my pick for Game of the Year as of right now, and it is just an amazing experience. So if you are a Warhammer fan, or a Warhammer 40k fan specifically, then you already are going to be picking this up, or you already bought it through the early access period. And it doesn't really matter if you have a high-end PC or you're stuck with consoles like us plebs. You're getting the game, and you are not going to be disappointed. It is just such an amazing experience, and never before have we really been brought into the Warhammer 40k universe quite like this, besides the first game. But this is on a whole other level. It is just insane. So I do need to just get that out of the way. It is just a fantastic experience, regardless if you are a Warhammer fan or not. But if you are, you are going to be, it's a Warhammer 40k's fans wet dream. It really is. And as you could just see, it just looks amazing. And this is on performance mode on the PS5. Now, of course, it doesn't need to be stated that if you have a high-end PC that costs several thousands of dollars, of course, it is going to look better than a $500 console that is 4 years old at this point. That's a given. But how does it actually play? Of course, we are going to be losing some of that crystal clear resolution. This is not in 4K. The performance mode runs in 1080p and targets 60 FPS. And you know what? For the most part, it does hit that 60 FPS mark, which is honestly pretty surprising. I expected a lot of performance issues, and there are some for sure, but for the most part, it did run pretty smooth in a couple occasions, especially on the first level, because, I mean, you can just see this is definitely one of the most hectic levels. There was quite a bit of FPS drops, and I was a little bit concerned going into it and continuing through the game, and I was like, I hope this isn't going to be the case for the whole game. And it's not. I've completed the campaign, I've done a bunch of PvP, I've done a bunch of the co-op operation missions, and for the most part, on performance mode, the game is pretty smooth. Now, I did notice that the FPS drops really come into play in certain situations during co-op mode. There are units that can call for reinforcements. They can call a massive wave of enemies, not like the ones that you're seeing here, but a small, like, concentrated cluster can kind of just show up very quickly, and that is when I notice the most slowdown. That's when you're going to be dipping down into like the 40 FPS range, so do keep that in mind. It's not a perfect 60, and to be honest, I wasn't expecting it to be. I mean, just look at how much carnage and enemies are on screen at any given time. You are just surrounded by Tyranids at every single moment, and it's just kind of it's really impressive that the game runs as well as it does. I'm going to be completely honest. Now, of course, you might be saying, well, it should run at, consistent 60 FPS at all times. And you know what? You're right. In a perfect world, that would be, but this isn't a perfect game. No game is perfect. It's definitely got some bumps along the road. And I do wish that we could get that perfect 60 FPS, but the game still looks great. The sense of scale and attention to detail, Saber Interactive really gave this game the love and attention it deserves. It's very clear that they are big fans of the Warhammer 40k universe. Nothing was really spared here, and I would have much rather them go for the sense of scale and, size and brutality and just the epicness that this game has, then sacrifice those sort of like really large Tyranid waves and chaos, maybe to get a little bit of a smoother experience. And again, if you have the option to play this game on a high-end PC, then absolutely, that is the route that you should go. Consoles in most cases are going to be, you know, the lesser option. But there actually has been some issues on PC as well. This is, again, a very demanding game, very graphically demanding game. A lot of PCs, CPUs are getting fried just from just the amount of enemies on screen at one time. So, you know, it's not perfect, but the game does run pretty well. And the times that I did notice that the FPS was dropping, it wasn't often enough to really take away from the experience of this game, which is, again, one of the most epic games and the best Warhammer 40k game that I've ever played. So I think if you can just, you know, tolerate that sometimes, you know, you're not going to get that perfect 60 FPS, it is going to dip down, especially when things get really, really chaotic. And they will get chaotic, that is for sure. Things can just go from 0 to 100 really, really quickly. Just the amount of things going on in the background alone is just crazy. And then, of course, you have hundreds and hundreds of enemy units. You have dozens of friendly NPCs. You have all these particle effects and just things going on. It's kind of a wonder that the game runs as well as it does on, at this point, again, 4-year-old consoles. That, you know, this could have been a terrible experience. Now, you can play the game on quality mode, but it's not going to be a good time. Of course, you will get that higher resolution, but you're going to be stuck at 30 FPS, and this game does not feel good at 30 FPS. So performance mode is definitely the way to go. Just know you're not going to have that crystal clear resolution, but again, the game still looks really, really good. I'm just constantly impressed with the attention to detail that this game has. From the Space Marine armors to the enemies and especially the environments, the backdrops and just things that are going on at any given time are just, I cannot tell you how many times I had to just stop and just look at the carnage in the background and just get attacked because I was just kind of blown away by how good this game looks. So if you're playing on a high-end PC, you know, with all the bells and whistles, it's going to look even better. But if you're watching this video, odds are you don't really have that option, so you're stuck with consoles. So it does run mostly smooth, but do keep in mind that during those crazy moments, it's going to be a little crazy. So even though it isn't the best looking version of the game, it doesn't mean that it's not a good looking game regardless. So Saber Interactive, really, my hat off to you, because you guys really did give this game the justice it deserves, this universe the justice it deserves. Warhammer 40k is a amazing universe to explore in all of its forms, and in my opinion, this is definitely the best way to experience it in video game form. But that is, you know, in terms of like campaign and co-op. I've played a ton of PvP, and the game runs very well PvP wise. Of course, server issues are they're going crazy right now. You know, server issues, that has nothing to do with performance. That's just the servers being overloaded with players. The PvP mode is so much fun. It's very bare bones right now. There isn't much to it. But if you grew up playing classic Gears of War, you are going to love this PvP mode. All of your customized Space Marine classes that you could use in both co-op, they can also be used here in the PvP mode. You can, of course, customize the way your Space Marine looks with all different chapters, different armor pieces. You can mix and match if you really want to, or, you know, stick to the traditional chapters that's the Space Marine and the Heretic Astartes do have. So if you do want to, you know, make things lore accurate, you can stick to that. But in terms of performance in the PvP, didn't really have any issues. In my entire time playing over the last 4 days, playing 4 or 5 hours at a time, I had the game crash on me one time. That was it. I had the game freeze on me a couple times, but after like 5 to 10 seconds, it came back. PvP mode runs really well outside of those server issues, which hopefully they'll be able to fix. They said that should be coming in the first patch, so hopefully that will get ironed out. But over the last couple days, it's actually already gotten a lot smoother. Matches have been just going a lot quicker and less disconnects and stuff like that. So it seems like they're already starting to be ironed out, but we might get another big wave with the official release, so servers might become an issue again. But in terms of performance and visuals in the PvP front, game looks great. The maps have a decent bit of attention to detail. I really like the way they look. I like the way they're laid out. There just isn't enough of them at the moment. There is only 3 PvP maps, so hopefully they can get us some more very quickly. Otherwise, the PvP mode might die. So if you are, again, a Warhammer 40k fan, you already have the game, or you got it pre-ordered and you're getting ready to play it right now. So if you have no other option, then absolutely pick it up on PS5, pick it up on Xbox Series X, PC, you know, a high-end PC, you know, with, again, all the bells and whistles. That's definitely going to be the best way to experience this game. It's a very graphically demanding game. Again, it looks so good. It plays fantastic. Just keep in mind, you know, it's not going to be 100% smooth on consoles, and at this point I think a lot of us are used to that at this point. It's not really an excuse, but with the amount of just things that are going on, it's a wonder that it runs as well as it does. And they are going to be addressing some of those FPS and performance issues in some upcoming patches, so hopefully it's going to get better over the next coming days and weeks, and they add more content, and we're going to be eating real good for at least a year when it comes to content for this game. And I hope that this video was helpful for you. If you're a little bit on the fence about picking it up on PlayStation, just, you know, keep in mind that it's not going to be the perfect version of it, but it is perfect in its own ways. So take care, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.